Welcome back, race fans, to the Adrian Newey division here at the SVR VR Simracing World Championship of 2025. We're in Tokyo for a race here around the central clockwise track configuration. I did compete in this race, but I will do my best to call this one without too much reference to what happened around me. Do make sure that that you check out the live stream from the race if you're particularly interested in that. Here then are how things look in the AN division after Daytona. For the team standings, Mega Racing have a good 24-point lead over JPI Jamplacht Interiors on 103. Delesi have 82 with Buckstein on 80. Brokaga 66. Kimi's racing team are ahead of Coach Dave Delta. And in the Drivers' Championship, we find when it works. There we go. Click the right button. We find Pat Finn making his return to the championship after a week's break. He's on 70 points, so he left and returned with the lead of the championship here. Revelit is in second place, having won the most recent race and being absolutely unbeatable in Daytona. Myself, I'm on 55 points in third place, but Jazzy Beats is close on 52. Biggerwood is fifth on 44, with the Wask, who has missed 2 races already, up into 6th place. We have Yabo in 7th. We have Rizback in 8th. Stormborn is in 9th place, ahead of Sparky Watt. Then our one-time reservist, Senor Fak, who was far too good for all of us, showed up and checked out on 18 points. We have Thumping on in 12th place, joint with Sir Grinch. They both have 16 points total. Christo has 15, but again, a little bit too good, and has moved up to S2. Milo in 15th place also has Brum and Wilson Court together, all on 14 points, with the Too Funny Black Evo, Gubanov Salamander, and De Lucas, who are all reservists at the tail of our standings currently anyway. Let's get trackside, let's get to enjoying the race, and yeah, I'm sure we'll find plenty of action. This is how things looked after qualifying. Well, Wilson Core managed to qualify at the back on 14 points, and then the legend returns from 2024. It's Nasty, who gets settled back into a car he knows very, very well indeed. However, qualifying didn't quite go his way. He's reserving for the Kimi's racing team. Jazzy Beats qualified in 12th position, somewhat out of his usual position, down in 12th. Then Biggerwood, likewise. This seems to be a bit of a bogey track for some drivers, so it's a tough and twisty street track. And actually, in the Adrian Newey car, something of a challenge to drive at the absolute limit. More so, I would say, than the SF23s, who get to go flat out for the vast majority of the race. Rizback's in 10th for Kimi's. Brum is 9th for Bergstein Transport. We have Revelit in 8th position. Again, it's not been a strong qualifying for someone who has been incredibly strong recently on the permanent racetracks. Lucas de Brusque in 7th, with Rhino in 6th. Sparky Watt putting in a tremendous performance to secure 5th place on the grid, just behind Pat Finn, who I think didn't have qualifying completely go his way. That's really the only logical explanation for why I was able to out-qualify my very, very fast teammate. And then on the front, absolute dominance from the Delesi crew in locking out that front row thump just behind the Wask, who looked to be in rare form. Well, not rare form, actually very, very common and very strong form. So let's get racing then. Just 24 laps for the AN division. It looks like both well, it's almost as if Thump is not even in his seat. His helmet matches his livery quite so perfectly. But we're getting ready for the race then, and hopefully we will have a great time here. Let's get trackside and see what happens. 5 lights on, and it's dropped the clutch and go, go, go. It looks like I got almost a lot of wheel spin and stumbled down there and stuck into 4th position. Wask ahead of Thump, and then Finn streaking off into third position. We have 3 wide for the briefest of moments as they run in through the first corner, Sakura Demon corner, and under the overpass for the first time. Then we've got some contact with the barriers. That was the Buckstein cars, I think, both coming together possibly on the way through the right-hander. Let's see what happened here. Well, there's a lot going on in front of Brum. It's the inside corner. It's Revelit in towards the Delesi car, I think, and then everything kind of went a little bit offline. Let's perhaps just have a look back from Revelit's perspective. Perhaps there's a good explanation. Well, look, the 2 cars in front do get a little bit out of shape. We go for the inside line, 3 wide into the corner. Was unlikely ever to work. It's hard to get even 2 cars through this run, as they'll go side by side then down the Chiyoda tunnel and heading towards Chidori Gafuchi. It looks like Finn and Thump getting together and making contact with the barrier. Thump with damage, Finn escaping without damage. I sneak through on the inside and several cars do the same. Sparky Watt up to 4th position then ahead of Thump, who is pillar to post banging around, and more contact for Thump. This is an absolute nightmare situation for Thump, and Revelit down at the back of the grid as well. Really difficult section of the track to happen upon a rival. Here is Thump running 2nd place. Pat goes down the inside on our left-hand side through the left-hander. Then we're going to turn right and we try and get in, but unfortunately we seem to lose control momentarily. Then we're going to get swamped by 2 mega cars. A little tag from the 2nd mega car as well. Sparky Watt clean on through. And then as we continue, obviously then you've got Revelit who's trying to make the overtake and then just completely smashed to smithereens for Thump. Damage across the front of the car, dropping down to 6th position. That had to have hurt. And then we've got more contact into the barrier. I think that might have been Biggerwood. It was Biggerwood, look, who's having to do the Austin Powers spin turn, and he oh dear me, Biggerwood, that is absolutely shocking situation for Biggerwood. And he's got damage front, back, left, right, everywhere for Biggerwood. There's so much going on, it is almost impossible to tell. Let's follow Biggerwood here as we go in towards the right-hander of Takibashi corner. We're playing it pretty calm and carefully, but there's just simply a completely blocked track. What a terrible situation for the Janplact Interiors cars. Damage on the car causing a loss of grip for him. There's nowhere to get out of the way of your rivals. There is no safe rejoin possible. And then suddenly we get spun, even though we appear to be ghosted by our own teammate Revelit. So yay, Janplact Interiors, 13th and 14th positions. Absolutely. What a shocker for the start of this race, as Wask leads myself, leads Finn, and Sparky Watt in great form in 4th place, surviving the melee as we run through in towards that Sakura de Mon. Turn 1, little tag on the barrier. Then we've got Lucas de Brusque and Thump on the Resurgence going down the inside, and there's a beautiful picture. Perfect overtake from Thump on the inside of Lucas de Brusque, who is racing for the Brokaga, but with damage, so that probably explains some of the lack of defence available to him. Rizbak comes over the crest of Chidori Gafuchi corner, and he's in 7th place with Wilson Core right up there in 8th place. Great first phase of the race here for Coach Dave with their anime stickers as we get very close. Spot all 7 of the anime references on the cars. I hope that's available to all of you. And Jazzy Beats then, unfortunately his livery hasn't shown up today, but he was racing in the Brokaga green and black. Revelit up to 10th place then after that that distinctly difficult start of the race. But just to key you in on strategy, Biggerwood is already 3/4 of a lap down, unfortunately, on lap 2. Here is Wask running the medium tyres with damage with the early contact into the barriers. I managed to survive cleanly, and I started on the softs. The softs and the mediums are the ones required for our race crew here at Adrian Newey, just to keep things going and make sure that we've got some tyre wear in our short distance race through the right-hander of turn 5. Very difficult corner to handle in the AN, and we've got Team Mega chasing down the lead of Wask with Finn right hot on the heels, and the potential podium looking incredibly competitive at this point. Great slipstream, but there's just nowhere to make an overtake and it's really, really difficult to find that opening. Soft tyres for Team Mega, both starting on the same option strategy. The better race tyre, of course, the medium. But that relies on you surviving the early sections of the racetrack without damage. We can see damage on the car. Wask was significantly slowed at this stage of proceedings, and we look for that opportunity to make the overtake at this point. But Sparky Watt, Thump, Risbach, Lucas, Wilson Core all ready to try and vie for this podium come the end of the race. Down we go into Sakura de Mon and Mia Kazaka corners. Down under the overpass, and it is much the same as it was before. Wask leading, Team Mega second and third position. Sparky Watt with a personal best lap here, and he's got Thump slowly reeling him in. Thump looking threatening and looking like he might get unlock some pace now. 111.8. That's a decent lap with fuel on board, especially with the damage. Thump determined to get back into this race. Risbach in 6th, Lucas de Brooks in 7th, and then we've got Wilson Core being chased down by Jazzy Beats and then Revelit as well. Wilson Core, Jazzy Beats on the soft tyres with damage all over the car, makes contact unfortunately with Wilson Core in front, but doesn't take advantage of that situation. Let's join Revelit on board and see what is happening here. Both cars here, all three cars I should say, trying to get into the apex and not succeeding. Uphill again, you can accelerate into the corners at this point, then you're flat out, and we're looking for that opportunity on Jazzy Beats as we make contact very slightly. The hint of a bump draft going on in towards the right-hander of Kikuya Gayen. Then it's, the left-hander of Kikuya Gayen, the two right-handers of Yarakucho and Hibiya corner. And I think we may have just missed an overtake for the lead of the race. I don't want to dwell on this, so sorry folks, but this is rare as hen's teeth, this one, as we get out of the final corner, and it's pretty much Wask struggling with the damage on his car at this point on the medium tyres. Finn unable to capitalise immediately thanks to just a little bit of contact with the barrier, and he's also managed to escape unscathed from actual damage on the car itself. There'll be plenty of cosmetic damage, I'm sure. Thump chasing down Sparky Watt. Risbach on his own, and let's go back to this battle as Rhino gets sideways. Not entirely sure what happened to Rhino. We go to turn right. We've actually tagged onto the back of this battle. You can hear the tyres screaming for mercy, and we'll go side by side. There's a bit of action going on in front as well. How do we avoid the damage? Well, it's absolutely unavoidable here at Tokyo. Unfortunately, Revelit and Jazzy Beats get through, but Brum holding on. Rhino with more damage on another car then today. Rhino down to 12th, gets overtaken by the returnee Nasty. Brum gets onto the back of this battle as well, and yes, fantastic to see some drivers surviving unscathed as here comes Brum on Jazzy Beats. Brum with damage manages to complete the overtake very neatly actually, and Jazzy Beats left to run down our barriers. I think we've just missed Finn as well make an overtake. Let's see what happened for Finn. Might have to go back a fair distance. Here we go. Oh, Wask hitting the barrier for the second time then, and Finn with just a nice clear run all the way out of the Chidori Gafuchi corner. One of the fastest corners that we're going to be tackling this season, I think, as Finn runs through under the tunnel and into the S's section. So Team Mega at this point in the race, P1 and P2, but having to use the faster tyre and protect it through to at least I think lap 8 or 9 I think we got to before then having to pit for fuel and tyres. Wask then will try and stay in the wheel track, so it's Mega 1-2, it's Delesi 3-5, it's Thump who's just managed to make an overtake thanks to Sparky Watt getting off those soft tyres very early, end of lap 5. So I imagine that was more to do with, well, it wasn't to do with damage, but it's just to be as safe as possible. Risbach going quickly, but Revelit, Brum, Jazzy Beats, Nasty. Fantastic to see these four drivers all so close together. Here comes Nasty on Jazzy Beats. Meanwhile, Brum ahead is chasing down Revelit. I don't know that any of these cars are without damage. And Jazzy, oh, that was, sorry, that was, it was Jazzy Beats, was it, that just had a problem? Let's go back and just check that one and see what happened. I want to say someone just spun quite significantly, but actually I wonder if it was someone else who had spun in this sequence. Jazzy Beats ahead of Nasty. What did we miss ahead? It was Revelit. It was Revelit spinning. So again, the setup on the Jann Mardenborough Interiors cars. Oh, and just nowhere to go as the drivers come through. That was, I think, Wilson Core having to make a very late dash into the pit lane for a damage repair. What can Revelit do in that circumstance? Just stay still, but he's at 90 degrees to the racing direction of travel. Biggerwood at the back at the moment, now being caught by the leaders here on lap 6, but obviously a very eventful run so far for Biggerwood. So as we come through, you can see the soft tyres starting to feel it. Special Tokyo stickers on board the Team Mega car, who's currently in the lead of the race anyway, enjoying the opportunity to get a little bit of Japanese car culture references on the car. Finn chasing him down then, and at the moment at least, Wask unable to answer on the poorer, slower tyre, and with that damage he's trying to go as deep into the race as possible, but struggling in the 112s and 113s at this stage, with Team Mega running at 111s on average anyway. Here we go, the first of the lapping procedure goes by very smoothly, with Biggerwood being incredibly fair and allowing Team Mega to go through and the leaders to lap smoothly. Back to the all-action mid-pack here, I think, because I think that's where we're going to see the most entertainment. This is Brum in P8. It's not always been quite so high in the race into the first third of the race distance, but he's obviously unlocked something. Despite the damage, it's competitive, and Nasty has got through from the back of the pack here up to P7 now. Nasty running well. Brum with the Spider-Man helmet in the Bugstein Transport Service car, and I think Jazzy Beats just getting dropped a little bit then from that midfield battle as Lucas de Brooks starts to catch here. Here he is, and through the left-hander of turn 10, down under the main surface of Tokyo City Centre. And running in, that is a pit stop then. I think that's for Brum and for Jazzy Beats on the same lap at the end of lap 7. So about on schedule for the soft tyres. It's going to be a little bit of a struggle towards the end of the race. But yeah, they may be saving a lap or two by being lapped at this stage. Here comes Rhino in P9. We've got Biggerwood up to 12th now, ahead of teammate Revelit, who has just, I think, pitted to get that slightly scratched looking JPI car repaired and ready to go. With the googly eyes on the helmet, I'm sure he's feeling less than ideal situation here. And there's a blue flag for well, I'm not quite sure who for. I think here comes some of the leaders coming through, maybe P3, 4, 5 coming through past the Jann Mardenborough cars, and side by side go Jann Mardenborough, and actually it looks like Revelit hung out to dry slightly there on the outside. Here comes, whoa, we're super close, aren't we, to the action. And the Delesi car, I think that must be Thump coming through from earlier on. Team Mega have pitted. That promotes the Delesi cars into first and second for a different strategy. So they're not really able to see their rivals at this stage, Mega and Delesi. Wask ahead of Thump then on the racetrack. Thump, who has just made that made those lapping cars get through fairly smoothly from the Jann Mardenborough Interiors cars, who, as I said before, have been very fair throughout the course of the race. Sparky Watt in 5th place and having a very impressive day so far with his anime stickers. I wonder if the anime stickers will stay on the car, if they have brought a sense of certainly good fortune as they run through. It is pitch black. It was racing at 1 a.m. local time on the track. It was fairly chilly and cloudy day, so it has helped the tyre wear. Running through the final corner then goes Sparky Watt. He's on medium tyres. He's got a fair distance left to run on this stint as Rizback comes through in that 6th place. The Frenchman for Kimi's racing team with the colour change special nighttime livery application on the car. He's got his teammate Nasty directly behind him. Ferrari power underneath the engine cover as they run line astern in 6th and 7th position. Kimi's racing team at the moment looking good here in Tokyo. Further back, we've got Lucas de Brusque on his own again in P8 with Brum having, I think, just managed to lap somebody who's in the pits. That must be Rhino, excuse me, not lapping, but overtaking his teammate Rhino, who's in the pits, and going through this portion of the race where the two strategies are in a very different situation. Jazzy Beats running in the mid-teens in terms of lap times, having a couple of fairly slow ones, obviously a pit stop as well, but he's got damage on the front of the car post pit stop on lap I think he must have been lap 7 where he pitted, yeah. And Revelit and Biggerwood, Revelit managing to get a little bit of clear air then behind him in the Lamborghini powered Jan-placked interiors. It's got Adios written on the rear wing. So I know the Jan-placked interiors drivers have been able to decorate their rear wings with specific messages. Rhino out of the pits on the medium tyres. Unfortunately, he's damaged the car or failed to repair the car in the pits. So has he actually damaged the car just coming out of the pit lane? Let's have a look. As he comes out of the pits, yeah, there's no damage on the car at this point, and an absolute nightmare for him as he exits the pits. It looks like that is a mega car of, yeah, that's myself going through in P3. This is Finn coming through on the inside and tangling with Rhino. Rhino getting that damage and failing to yield for a leader coming through. It may have not have been that he couldn't see the blue flag that early on, but yeah, we won't dwell. I'm sure the stewards will look into all the blue flag complaints post-race. So Wilson Court in 14th at the moment, and he is on the medium tyre. But certainly competitive, you have to say, as Wask comes through on lap 11. Running through those medium tyres, man, he will be relieved. I think he's picked up further damage through this stint. That's both front wheels have damage, or both front suspension sections on the wheels. Both have damage from contact with the barriers either side. Wask in first place now, half distance of the race, as Thump comes through in that second place as well, not too far away from his pace and championship teammate leading in the standings, at least, Wask. So Wask would be pleased to be in this clear air position, but of course there are constantly cars to lap, especially after a dramatic first lap of full of incidents, and then we make contact, unfortunately, with the Coach Dave car as we come through, and that is further issue then for the Delesi driver. He'll be very relieved, I think, to get out of Tokyo and try and get onto a permanent racetrack once again, and maybe the daytime races as well. But Wask leads Thump and Team Mega in P3 and P4 in constant communication at this stage, although later in the race that did actually fail, and Team Mega were racing in silence just with their engineer. But certainly Finn dropped from the team radio towards the end of the race, and that caused an issue, shall we say. Sparky Watt in P5, the Belgian racer, having a very good quiet day's racing here as he streaks through the S's section at Otomachi underneath the final tunnel and into Kokoya Gayen. He's got a car not far away in front, but that car, no, Sparky Watts decides to pit then on after lap 12, leaving a fair distance of the racetrack to travel. That's going to be interesting. If he's going to one-stop that on soft tyres, from lap 12. That is going to be very, very well going. Here is Nasty in P7. I wonder if Sparky Watt is planning a two-stopper here today. Nasty will get that P6 now. Rizback has managed to get past Sparky Watt, but no. Yes, in fact, Sparky Watt does exit the pits just behind Nasty on lap 13. So Sparky giving up 2 positions during the pit stopping procedure. Still ferociously fast, 150 miles an hour plus through some of these fast corners here at Tokyo Central clockwise configuration. This racetrack, or at least, well, this race around a street track has certainly produced plenty of drama and anxiety in many of our drivers. Sparky Watt, though, in 7th place. Lucas de Brusque not a million miles away from that battle at the moment. Brum in 9th. Jazzy Beats currently circulating in P10. It kind of looks like a mega car with his default livery on, but you can tell Jazzy Beats with the Ayrton Senna tribute helmet. We've got Biggerwood and Revelit 11th and 12th, or 12th and 11th in that order. Rhino running P13, and Wilson caught down in the final position. And unfortunately, I do apologise, Wilson managed to catch that moment of a little spin into the barrier. Unfortunately, Wask continues though in the lead of the race with the damage. Fuel tank flashing. It's lap 14 of 24, right on the outside bubble as far as I was aware of the soft tyre stint. The soft tyres lasting. He goes round again, so certainly not declining that opportunity, but Thump comes in with 10 to go into the pits, so he will get his new soft tyres on and the car damage repaired. Don't know how, but I managed to escape any damage throughout the course of the race to this point, and now chasing down a Coach Dave car with the white and red and anime stickers, and we'll try and find an opportunity to make the pass. Again, blue flag repeaters here. Not quite enough room going through the car, through the right hand section there. It's very nervous getting past the slower drivers. You're never quite certain where they're going to exit. And here is the Team Mega drivers in P2 and 3 at this stage. Lap 15, Finn definitely the quicker of the two. Right now, 1:11.5 for Finn, 1:11.7 for me. So I think at this point Finn was saying, don't worry about it, we won't worry about positions at this stage, won't be making a stupid attempt to pass, so trying to do the right thing for both team and team points total. The leader pits, Wask pits, with just 2 litres of fuel left on the car, and that was a very, very good stint for Wask when you take into account it was the medium tyre and the damage, but that promotes Team Mega back to 1-2 at the start of lap 16. Wask will get his car repaired. He'll get his new set of soft tyres on the car. That will correct itself. There it is, the soft tyres, and finally he gets to drive a light and nimble and fully repaired car, and then we can start to go off in pursuit of Team Mega, but obviously having to do a fair amount of work here. It's not your standard pole to flag out in the distance kind of a race here for a pole sitter. This is made quite tricky here around Tokyo Expressway. Thump in 4th position then, and right at the extreme edge of the racetrack as he is on those new soft tyres. So we'll get an idea of Thump's early pace, and he's already going purple to indicate he is the fastest car on the circuit at the moment and ever in the race to this stage. Of course, the soft tyres have helped Team Mega to get the fastest lap right now, a 1:10.6. But as the lower fuel load starts to take into account and the up to temperature track, look at the scratches on Thump's rear quarter there. Into the pits comes a car in front. I think that's his teammate. No, it's not his teammate Wask. That's one of the Coach Dave white and red cars. We've gone too similar for your commentator here. Thump then, a 1:10.5, smashes the new lap record then. 1:10.5 for Thump, and he We'll continue then. Wask a 1:12.8, but that was his outlap, a very, very hot outlap. You have to say there's a spin. There's another spin for the cars. Let me try and find who it was. It was Biggerwood, unfortunately. Here we go. I think that's dirty air, and then spinning ourselves. Are we in the pit lane? Have we avoided the pits? We have avoided the pits, thankfully, but yes, a pirouette at pit entrance. Manages to avoid going in and picking up a penalty as a result, but Biggerwood in 13th position, just losing it slightly on the way through the final two corners. So running a 1:11.9 that lap. Finn a 1:13.0, obviously having difficulty through that lap portion, and no damage on Team Mega's cars at this stage. Wask a 1:12.8. We'll see how quickly he can go then on his first lap here on the new soft tyres at racing pace, and no back markers, I think, to really be concerned with. Wask crosses the line, new fastest lap. Look at that, a 1:10.0. Talk about blasting the lap record. That took half a second off the current best on the circuit. So Wask, first lap out on the soft tyres, isn't going carefully. It's lap 18 of the 24, and Wask certainly looking like he's got some great pace in that Delesi Adrian Newey designed car. Thump in 4th, Risbach still very much on his own in 5th at the moment, but Sparky Watt has been promoted back to 6th thanks to Nasty's pit stop that is ongoing right now. Sparky Watt about to, I think, lap his teammate at the moment, and I don't think that's happened before this season. So Sparky Watt flying through and past, and enjoying this Tokyo racetrack, I'm sure, no end. Nasty out of the pits then in 7th, Jazzy Beats in 8th, and the damage is still on Jazzy Beats' car, front wing and front left here as he runs through, and I don't think he's going to have time to pit again. Lap 18 of the 24 on his own then in 8th position. Looks like Lucas de Brusque starting to catch on new medium tyres right now. That is a very unusual Brokaga design I've not seen before, but a special night livery with the metallic paint scheme and kind of almost fingerprint style design. Let's honour that with a little bit of an investigation, shall we? As we see, it does look fantastic. Excuse me, Lucas de Brusque. It is Brokaga, but he's almost got Delesi stripes on the back, on the engine cover. So, questioning that one. Divided loyalties perhaps here for Lucas with running that particular livery. I wonder if he chose the wrong livery for the day, or he's just applied the green overlay over the top of the original Delesi livery design. It's Brum in 10th. It's Revelit in 11th. Really out of character race here for the most recent winner in our AN division, Revelit in P11, but a very, very different track characteristic. Rhino's in 12th, Biggerwood in 13th. Damage on the car though for Biggerwood, and Wilson Core then at the back on the soft tyre and trying to make that soft tyre run. So 1 minute 12 at the head of the field then, not the best lap possible. A 1:11.4 for Finn, as Wask then chases down with a 1:10.3. He's also got a 1:9.7, and he's still on another hot lap. This is the 4th flyer after his pit stop, and here comes Wask to try and get higher up in the order before the end of the race. On board with Wask, and we are flying, and now we can see P1 and P2 in front of us, and we start to be able to put the pressure on. Perhaps a hint of a correction there from Finn mid-corner, perhaps not feeling the tyres quite working to their best. Here is Wask. That mega car's got to be made as wide as possible. There's a little nerf in the rear from Wask, but he doesn't take advantage that time. I know these two great friends, and they train together quite frequently. They don't live too far apart either in Canada. And Wask then tucked right up behind the Team Mega car, gets to inspect that Mega Chrome nighttime livery as best as possible. Overtaking is prohibitive, it says, under the yellow flag. Question that one. Oh dear, that's a real problem then for Wask. Now, was that obeying the yellow flag or not, I wonder? but he clearly allowed Finn to retake the position. So obeying the flags with great alacrity here is Wask. He lives to fight another day. He goes to go round the outside of Finn. What an overtake. What possible more could Finn have done to defend from that one? It was just a great run out of the corner from Wask. Question whether that momentum was gained slightly by keeping his foot pinned through a yellow flag. Not entirely sure, but you can make your own determination in the comments. So Wask splitting the Team Mega drivers as we're on lap 21 of 24. Wask looking good. 110.9 his last lap. 111.7 at the head of the field. So definitely on course here to close in. But I don't know to what degree was I pacing myself at this point. I actually have completely forgotten. But I was certainly feeling the pressure of being in rarefied air here at the head of a race. First time leading any kind of league race. Thump in 4th, Rizback in 5th right now. We've got Sparky Watt in 6th position. Nasty has gained that 7th over Jazzy Beats, who is some quarter of a lap back from 8th position and about half a sector ahead of Brum in 9th place. So finding himself, I think that's the leaders actually catching now Jazzy Beats. So I don't know how early the blue flags start to get warned, but he knows that his gap, I think, is quite large behind and quite large in front. We will see as the race develops. Lap 21 of the 24 through the double right of Takibashi corner, past the Imperial Palace, East Gardens and the moat that runs around the Imperial Palace here in Tokyo, as Jazzy Beats then runs on and continues in that 8th position. There's the first blue flag then on lap 21. It's Revelit in 10th place, Lucas de Brusque in 11th, Rhino in 12th place, Biggerwood in 13th, and Wilson Core in that 14th place. A very competitive run and race then from everybody. It is a very arduous race distance here to keep the focus, to maintain your pace. 112.1 then at the head of the field, 110.9. Perhaps Wask is starting to run a little low on fuel, but I think starting to sniff the possibility of a victory here. And mind you, I'm sure that Wask had victory stuffed up his nostrils the entire time for the race, as it's lap 23. There you see a marshal just giving the instruction, and I'll let this one run, and we'll see what happens. Running through into the final corner, obviously being caught. Obviously, this is for the lead battle then. And Wask streaks through on the outside. There's contact. There's brushing with the wall. There's further contact over the hill. And Wask holding on to the lead of the race then, but still not able to pass Jazzy Beats. So it looks like we've got Wask leading then with the final lap just beginning, and Jazzy Beats with the blue flags shining above, with Wask then trying to make the move. Pulls across to the inside to allow through. Got damage on my car on the front axle and the front wing. We've got Finn in 3rd place, but of course the two Mega drivers not able to be in contact at this point in the race because Finn was dropped from the channel. So it was a very tricky portion of the race, and we finally, on the middle of lap 24, get past Jazzy Beats then. It's Thump in 4th, Rizback running in that 5th place. What can Thump do? He's a bit too far back, I think, at this stage to close in at the end of proceedings, but running a good 4th place for the D'Alessi team, who may be a little bit disappointed having started by locking out the front row. Still competitive in the midfield for the end of this one, as we close in on what's happening at the front of the field. Wask comes through the final corner and will win a battle of attrition here, as we've got a spinning Yamplak car on the line, but Wask wins in Tokyo. I scrape through in 2nd, and Finn in 3rd place will do well for his championship points. Thump will cross the line in 4th place. But we did see some issue there. I think it was Biggerwood right on the final lap, just to give the guys absolute heart failure who were coming through to try and win the race. Biggerwood turns to the right, but there's so much damage on the front. Spins out to the right, hits the barrier. That's a 270, I think. And then, yeah, just crossing the path of 5, 6, 7 drivers trying to get out of everybody's way. I'm sure that was a really difficult portion for Biggerwood. Thumping 4th, Risbach versus Sparky Watt continues then, half a lap back from the battle at the lead of the race, who have passed the checkered flag. This is Sparky Watt versus Risbach. Wouldn't it be a glorious race for Sparky if he can get that final position? But in towards the final 2 corners, will Risbach go ahead of Sparky Watt? Risbach will take the 5th place, just ahead. Wow, that was close between Risbach and the Belgian. The French and Belgian drivers, neighbours in country, neighbours on the track. Nasty making his legendary return from 2024 in a car he enjoys a great deal, up from near the back in 7th position, and we don't do that anymore. Nasty Jazzy Beats at the in 8th place. We have Brum and Lucas the Brusque rounding out the top 10. Well, that was thriller minute stuff. I mean, it never really stopped being pretty huge. Do check out the website and the race results, because the steward inquiry results have been revealed now, so I can let you guys go ahead and do that. But do leave your comments and make sure that you drop your favorite moment in as a timestamp in the comments as well. Make sure you're subscribing, please, to @SVR-Racing, as well as on this channel. But thanks so much for watching, everyone, and we will catch you on the next race day.